Hi everyone, welcome back to Xcoding with Alvian. In this video, we will learn how to build a simple static block website using an open source Swift static generator library named Publish. To deploy the site to the internet, we'll use Netlify as hosting provider. It supports Git continuous deployment and provides high-performance distributed CDN to serve the content around the world. Okay, before we begin, let me show you a demo of a static website that is generated using Publish, my personal blog, alvianlozari.com. Okay, nice. As you can see, the main page is rendered almost instantaneously. It's only about 200 milliseconds. All the content rendered on the screen, except the image and CSS, is just a HTML document. There is no JavaScript code running on the client. In fact, I can disable JavaScript. And then if I try to refresh this page, the page is loaded perfectly. Let me show you my website. At the main page, there's a recent articles list containing 3 last published articles. At the bottom, there's a footer containing social media information that you can use to contact me. Here at the header, there are many sections that you can choose. Let me click on Flutter. These are the posts associated with Flutter. And let me click the first one. This is the content of the post. This post is actually just a Markdown file that was converted into an HTML file by Publish. And let me scroll to the bottom. And as you can see here, each of the posts can be associated with multiple texts. Here is the list of all texts from all the posts. Let me click on this About page. This About page is just basically a single page containing information about me. To create a new blog post, I can just create a Markdown file, write into it, and then add the required metadata such as date, description, and text. And then with this Markdown file, I can just drag it inside this folder, and using the terminal, I just need to add this as a commit. Let me say add new post, and with this I just need to push this to the repository in GitHub. Every time I push a new commit to the GitHub master branch, Netlify will perform the Swift build to generate the static HTML files. And then, from the output folder, it will be deployed to our site. Now, let me try to go back to Safari and then refresh. Nice, the new post is there. You might be wondering, what exactly is a static site generator? Let me open a blog post from Netlify that explains what SSG is. Let me scroll a bit. Okay, here, static site generator SSG apply data and content to the templates and generate a view of a page which can be served to the visitor of a site. The greatest difference between a static site generator and a traditional web application stack is that instead of waiting until a page is requested and then generating its view on demand each time, a SSG does this in advance so that the view is ready to serve ahead of time, and it does so for every possible view of a site at a build time. So this is basically the diagram of the whole process. So we have the data, for example Markdown files, and then we have the static site generator tools, in this case Publish, and then we will run this. It will output the HTML files, and then we will deploy it to hosting, and the hosting will serve it to the client using a CDN. I have provided the link to the full blog post in case you want to learn more about it. There are many popular static site generators for every programming language out there. For example, Golang has Hugo, JavaScript has Gatsby, and Ruby has Jekyll. Swift also has its own popular open source static site generator, published by John Sandel. It is also the tool used to generate his popular website, Swift by Sandel. It was released as an open source project last year in 2019. We will be using Publish to build our static blog site. By default, it uses Markdown files to populate the pages of the website. Okay, let's begin by downloading Publish from the GitHub repository first. Let's navigate to the GitHub repository and you can download or clone it. In this case, I will clone it. Let's open the terminal, clear it, navigate to your favorite folder to store this, and then just type git clone. This will clone Publish into your computer. Okay, let's see here for the installation. Publish also ships with a command line tool that makes it easy to set up a new website projects and to generate and deploy existing ones. To install the command line tools, simply run make within a local copy of the Publish repo. Okay, let's install this command line interface tool first. Okay, so let's navigate to the repository that we clone. And then we just need to type make to install this to our machine. Wait until it finished. The installation finished. Let's try to type publish help to see the available commands. There is new to set up a new website in the current folder. Generate the website in the current folder. Run, which we can use to generate and run a localhost server on the default port 8000. Deploy, to generate and deploy the website in the current folder according to its deployment method. Let's create a new project for our blog. Let's go back to the desktop folder here, and then let me create a new folder. I'm going to give it a name, my blog. You can choose any name that you want. Okay, let me navigate. And from here, let me type publish new. This will generate a new website and dependencies for the current project folder. Now type open package.swift. This will open the project in Xcode and it will try to resolve all the dependencies. Wait until it finishes. After it finishes, try to build the project using Command B to make sure it built successfully. Okay, the project now is built successfully. Okay, now let me try to run the project here using Command R. Okay, let's see the output. Okay, let's give this permission to write to a folder. As you can see, after the program has been executed, it will generate the HTML files and then it will put it inside this output folder. This is the root page containing as all the HTML text, and this is the post. It will contain also all the CSS, RSS files, and any resources that we declare. This is the folder that actually will be used to serve our static website in the internet. You can deploy this output folder to any hosting provider such as GitHub Pages or Firebase hosting. Now let's try to deploy this blog to a local server. Using terminal, we can use Publish CLI, publish run. This will build the website and generate the static files. And it will use a Python web server to serve this locally. By default, it's using port 8000. Okay, now it finished. We can just open our browser and type localhost 8000. Nice, we have the website run locally. Okay, by default, Publish use the built-in foundation theme to style this website. At the top, we have a header containing the website name. Here, there's a text, welcome to my blog, as well as the description. And here is the latest content. It contains all the recently published articles. And let me open developer tools here. So you can see here all the generated meta text to make this website SEO friendly. Nice, right? Now let's try to understand how the Markdown files located inside the content folder are rendered. Click on the project navigator here in Xcode and then click on this content folder. At the root level, there's a single folder named post containing the Markdown files, and also there's an index.md file at the root level. The index.md at the root contains the title that will be used in the main page. We can try to update the title here to something like this, and then let's try to restart the server and refresh the page. Now we have the title from the root index.md file rendered here in the main page. Now let's back to the content folder here. As you can see, there's one folder here named post. This is basically the section, and we can actually append this post to the URL path to navigate to this section. As you can see here, it also contains this index.md. So if I update this to like something like my post page, and then try to restart the server and refresh this page, now it's going to use the content inside this index.md at the post folder. Any other Markdown files that we put inside this post folder except the index.md will be treated as the post item. Let me open the first post here. So a post item requires 3 metadata: the publish date, description, and text, as well as the title. So based on this, it will be used to render this here. This is the title, this is the text, this is the description. So if I change this to something like this, and something like this, if I restart the server, now it's going to use the metadata that I just declared to show it here in the post section as well as the main page. The main page itself will render the 3 latest published articles based on the date. Now let me try to add a new post item to this section. Let's go back to Xcode, and inside this post folder, let's create a new file, an empty file. Okay, I'm going to give it a name of second post.md. Okay, so let me copy the first post as the template. Okay, now here let me try to change this to here, and hello second post. Let's use the same tag, and for the title, my second XCA post. Okay, now let me try to restart the server so it can pick this new file, run it again, and then let me refresh this. Nice, the second post is now displayed here. So with this, we should be able to customize the Markdown files to anything that we want. For example, here, let me try to add the second header. This is the second header, and let me show you the list, how it will be rendered. This is the first item, this is the second item. This is basically just a Markdown syntax. I will share the link to a page containing all the Markdown syntax that you can take a look at the description link below. Okay, so now let's refresh, start the server, start this. Nice, as you can see here. Let's see here using this inspector. So this double pound will be rendered as h2, and for the list here is rendered as list item inside a ul tag. If you want to display an image inside the post, you can also use a Markdown syntax to refer to the image. And I recommend you not to upload the image locally inside this Git folder. Instead, you can use a image hosting provider, upload the image there, and then copy the address. Something like this. So here I already have a image in the pasteboard. Let me paste this. Okay. So this is basically the syntax here. And here is the address of the image. Okay. So let's start the server and refresh the page. Okay. As you can see now, the image is displayed inside this page. So that's basically it for handling image. Now, let me show you how to add an additional section to our blog. Currently, the blog only has one single section named posts. To add additional section, we need to navigate to main.swift file here. And inside this my blog struct, there's this section ID enum. So basically, we just to add a new case. Let's give it a name of like showcases. Okay. After declaring this new case here, we also need to navigate to this content folder and create a new folder with the same name, showcases. Okay. And inside this folder, let's create a new file and give it a name of index.md. And let's set the title showcases. Okay. Make sure to save. And let's restart the server using publish run. Okay, now let's go back here and refresh. Okay, now as you can see on the header, we have two sections, my post page and showcases. Currently, the showcases is empty. There is no item. So let's try to add an item to the showcases section. Let's say we create a new file here and give it a name of my first showcase.md. Okay, let me copy one of the item as the template here. Let me paste this. Okay, let me change the date to 29. First showcase. My first showcase post. Okay, let's save this and let's restart the server and refresh the page. Okay, now there is one item inside the showcases section. Nice. So as you can see, it is really easy to add additional section to our blog using Publish. Now let me show you how to configure the title of the website. To do that, we just need to navigate to the main Swift here. And as you can see here in the comment, update these properties to configure website. And we can provide this after we deploy it in the production. And here there's a name property that we can change. So let me change to XGA blog test and change the description to mobile development videos and articles. Okay. Now let's try to restart the server. And let's see. Let me refresh. Nice, now the title is updated. And as you can see here, it renders the description in the main page. And if I open another tab, as you can see here, the title will be shown. Now let's take a look on how the HTML pages are generated using the built-in provided foundation theme. Go to this main.swift file and then command click on foundation, click on jump to definition. So this is the source file. So this is basically just a static property, and inside this foundation it is initializing the theme struct. It's going to pass the foundation HTML factory here, as well as the resource paths containing the CSS file. Okay, let's take a look here. Foundation HTML factory. Okay, this is basically the struct. This struct use the generate type with the type needs to conform to website, and it also conforms to the HTML factory protocol. Let's take a look inside the protocol. So here, basically, it uses the associated type site that needs to conform to website. Okay, a website needs to have this property, and as you can see here, there are many methods that need to be implemented, such as make index HTML. This will create the HTML for the index main page, the website's main index page, and this is make section HTML. This is for generating the section root page, and make item HTML. This is basically an HTML for the item, a post, and make page HTML for a single page. This is for showing the tag list as well as the tag details. Let's go back to the foundation HTML factory. Now let's take a look on how the methods are implemented. For example, here make index HTML. Here it's going to use float, which is a library to declare a HTML tag in Swift. Here HTML will be the root, and then there's this lang to generate the meta for set language using the website configuration. And also there's a static method here. This is used to generate the meta tag for the header, HTML header, the encoding UTF-8, title, description, Twitter card type, and viewport, and many other. So basically, if we want to customize, we need to create our theme, and we can also copy this as the base and then add additional meta tag that we want. Okay. And for the body, there's a header here for generating the header based on the section that we declare. So this is basically it, the header. And here there's a div wrapper to show the title, to show the site description, and H2 for showing the latest content. It's going to show it inside the item list using this UL node here. So that's basically how the index root page is rendered. Okay. And you can also see here for the section, item, page, as well as if you want to see the footer here, generated using Publish here, this rendered for each page. So let me show you how I create a custom theme for Xcoding with Alvian. So this is the project. As you can see here, there's a math theme here. So basically, I just clone the foundation. I just copy and paste and change the name here to use my theme. And then I also create my own CSS file that I put inside this resources folder. And I refer it here. And here I declare a custom struct here, foundation HTML factory. To begin, I just copy the previous code from the built-in provided theme, and then I make a modification here in the for showing the index HTML. So basically, we can add additional class, and then we can style it inside the CSS here. Let me show you how I customize the HTML header and the footer inside the body for each page. So this is the footer here. So I provide my own profile picture using IMG tag and add additional social media information here. Okay. And this is the header I added additional meta here for showing some icon as well as custom font from Google Font. And yeah, that's basically it for creating a custom theme. You can just copy the basic foundation theme and then you can change as needed. And for using this custom theme, I can just publish with this .my theme that I created. And here there's amazing capability of publish, which is to use a custom plugins. So here I use the Splash plugin to perform a highlighting for code syntax, as well a custom plugin that I create myself for adding additional CSS to the Markdown HTML for additional styling. So that's it for how to configure the blog using Publish with the default built-in foundation theme. If you are interested to learn more about how to build a custom theme and plugin using Publish, please comment and let me know in the description. I will consider making a second part of this Publish series, which will cover on how to build a custom theme and using custom plugins. But as always, you can also learn from the Publish GitHub website if you are very interested. Okay, so let's move on to deployment using Netlify. First, let me create a new repository in GitHub here. Let's just close this. Click on this plus button, new repository, and let's give it a name blog demo. Blog demo, and I will set this as private, and I will create the repository. Okay. So now let's copy this and let's initialize and give the repository locally here inside the project folder. You can just start git init. Okay, and let's add a git ignore. Okay, I will add a folder output. So I will ignore the output folder here, as this will be generated every time we build the site. Okay, now let me save this, and let's add all the file inside the folder, and let's commit it. Let's say initial commit. Okay, now it's adding all the files here, and it will ignore the output folder. And now let's just pass this remote address here and add it as a remote. And now let's push it. It push you origin master. Okay, let me enter my file phrase. It's wrong. Okay, it's uploading now. Nice, it's pushed. Let me refresh. Okay, this is our blog here. Now let's move on to the Netlify side. Okay, so let me open a new tab. I go to netlify.com here. Let me just sign up here. You can sign up with the one of the following: GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, or email. I will use GitHub to sign in. Okay. So I already have a theme, which is my personal website. Now, if you are a new user, maybe you have to create a theme and just make sure to select the starter plan. Now, just click on new site from Git button here, and let's select continuous deployment using GitHub. Okay, it is authorized now, and we need to give the Netlify access to our private repo by clicking on this configure the Netlify app on GitHub. Okay, let me select this and let me add the name of the repository, blog demo. Okay, let me save. Okay, now the blog demo is shown here. Let's select this, and for branch to deploy, let's select master. So every time we commit to the master branch, it will run this build command. In this case, we can just type swift run. Okay, and for the publish directory, which will be used for the deployment, we will use output. Okay, make sure this O is uppercase. Now let's deploy the site by clicking deploy site. Okay, now the site deploy is in progress. So actually, after we deploy the site, we can also set up a custom domain, and we can also secure the site with HTTPS. This is pretty simple to set up. You can just buy a domain and provide your CNAME in the dashboard. Now let's see the deployment progress. Here is the deployment log. As you can see, now it is downloading Swift 5.2. Okay, now it finished downloading the Swift 5.2. It's downloading all the dependencies for our project using the Swift package. Now it is compiling. Now it's starting the deployment here using the output folder. And as you can see here, the site is live. Now let's try it. Let's go back here, and Netlify will provide a unique address to us, free to use. So let's click here. Nice. Our site is now deployed to the internet using the HTTPS. So with Netlify continuous deployment, we can just create any files in our repository. Maybe you can use a Git client for an Android tablet or iPad, and then you can add Markdown files to the project, and then from the tablet you can push the commit to the branch, and it will trigger continuous deployment, and it will deploy the site with the latest post. Okay, that's it for this video. We have learned how to use Swift Publish to generate static site block using the built-in foundation theme. Also, we have successfully used continuous deployment to deploy our website using Netlify. There are many other customization features provided by Publish, such as using custom theme, custom plugin, or even custom pipeline steps when building the sites. If you want to learn more, please visit the GitHub repo. And finally, I want to give a big thanks to John Sandel for supporting Swift open source by creating this amazing tool. So until then, let's keep the lifelong learning goes on, and bye.